Hey, this is World Series champion Johnny Damon.
This is World Series champion Cliff Floyd.
This is Kevin Newman of the Pittsburgh Pirates.
This is a World Series champion Ozzie Guillen.
This is Carlos Pena, 14-year MLB veteran.
This is two-time NL MVP Dale Murphy of the Atlanta Braves.
This is John Clowney, pitcher with the Arizona Diamondbacks.
This is World Series champion Joe Musgrove.
This is Jordan Luplow of the Cleveland Indians.
This is Lance Coach Jim of the Houston Astros.
What's up, it's A. Jones of the Buffalo Bills.
It's Tyler Lockett of the Seattle Seahawks.
It's Hunter Henry of the LA Chargers.
This is Jose Canseco.
And when I'm not on the field catching bombs from Russell Wilson.
When I'm not on the field catching bombs.
When I'm not on the field catching bombs.
When I'm not on the field hitting bombs.
I'm watching my guys over at
FIlthbomb.
FIlthbomb.
FIlthbomb breaks
off those nasty
FIlthbomb. I know a thing or two about hitting some bombs, fellas.
But there's nothing quite like hitting a filth bomb
with my guys over at FIlthbomb Breaks.
FIlthbomb! Mike Trout 101 auto!
MVP breakers, MVP prices.
Keep those filth bombs coming. I'll keep those World Series coming.
Thanks for making baseball cards fun again.
Thanks for making baseball cards fun again, guys. Go Bucks.
Thanks for making collecting cards fun again for the kids and for all of us old-timers as well.
A way to make baseball cards fun again, guys. Keep pulling those nasty filth bombs.
And pull me a Jose Canseco Superfractor.
And hit me a West Coast Superfractor. Go Astros.
Please pull me a Clowney Superfractor.
How about you go pull me a Jordan Luplow Superfractor?
And now, introducing from New York, opening packs at the speed of sound, pulling filth out of cases nightly, the undefeated, undisputed champion of the sports card breaking industry, FIlthbomb Breaks. It's time for FIlthbomb.
What's going on, everyone? Stephen Michael here with FIlthbomb Breaks, coming to you live from the House of Wax right here in Long Island, New York on January 27, 2020. The time is 7:07 p.m. Eastern. I'm here with my co-hosts, Louis Zolo and Derek Morgan. What is going on, gentlemen?
What's going on, guys? I hope you guys could see me.
Derek's still working on an endorsement deal with Cricket Mobile, so it's still 50-50 on the connection on his end. But we're working through it. I think everything will be all right. So we're going to start off the show today, just quickly touching base. I know everyone's been talking about it for the past 24 hours plus, but obviously Kobe Bryant, rest in peace to him. And I just wanted to share a quick thought on Kobe. I know they want to share quick thoughts as well on Kobe. I just wanted to say that growing up, he was the person that everyone wanted to be. I'm 34 years old, so when you were following basketball, he was the guy. Kobe, you wanted to be like Kobe, not like Mike. Maybe Lewis's generation wanted to be like Mike. My generation wanted to be like Kobe. Derek's generation wanted to be like LeBron. But, man, Kobe was just the man. I didn't collect basketball cards. I wasn't really big into that. But just every night I'd go home, turn on ESPN after doing homework, and there's Kobe right on the highlights. It was just, you grow up with the person. I never spoke to him. He doesn't know who I am. I didn't know who he was personally, and it's just like you feel like you lost somebody as part of your family when you hear something like that happen. So on that note, doing something everyone my grade used to do. Kobe. Chucking it. All right, Derek, you want to say something about Kobe?
Yeah, I mean, just growing up, like you said, I mean, I was a little younger, but it's one of those things. It's like so devastating. Like I'm still in disbelief, and then with what happened with everybody else in the helicopter, obviously it just sucks. I don't know what else to say. I mean, that's like you don't look at someone like that as ever like being mortal. Like he's almost like an immortal figure. Like he's still alive to me. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how to
No, it's true.
Or what to say anymore.
It's true. It's
that
you bring up a good point. Before we get to Lewis, just somebody like that. So I was talking to my father over dinner the other night, and I was like, you know, when you were growing up. So my father's 62, and I said, you never lost anyone, you know, that you grew up with as part of your generation that died early. You know, I was like, when Clemente died, you were 11. When
Mhm.
Munson died, you were young. I was like, so you never really lost anyone. And I said, the only other person that this is like is if Jeter were to die. That's like the type of person Kobe was. It was almost like if Jeter would die, that was the only other person that could come close to the feeling of Kobe.
Yeah.
For somebody my age, at least. So, Lewis, what did you want to say on Kobe?
First, as the adult in this room, being 44, I've seen him a lot more and understand a couple of more things. And this is huge. I mean, this is huge. In my generation, the biggest thing I've seen besides this was the death of Princess Diana. That's how big this is. I know we lost Michael Jackson, Prince, and people like that, but they were self-inflicted scenarios that caused their death. This is a tragedy. This is upsetting. This is an icon that we all feel like we know. He's been in our faces for 20 years. LA's identity is Kobe. People 30 or younger know the NBA to be Kobe. I mean, this is part of people's lives. And then as a father, I get all choked up too, excuse me, because I have a 13-year-old daughter. And it wasn't like they crashed into a mountain and it was over. They had time to know this was going down. And the fear in their hearts, and how does a father look into his daughter's eyes knowing what's going to happen?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, this is beyond sad, and it totally breaks my heart. I wasn't a Laker fan, but I'm a humanity fan. And to not hurt over what's going on, I just can't comprehend. I mean, rest in peace to him, his daughter, everybody on that helicopter. This is just so sad. Clemente and Munson, sad. Roy Halladay, sad. They had fans. None of them were a global icon like Kobe.
No.
And also, we're in the era of social media. Munson and Clemente were not in your faces like Kobe's in ours. Everybody feels the loss of this. This is very upsetting, and there's just no words. There's no words.
I think what people fail to realize, including myself, is there's so many other people that are affected by this aside from just Kobe, right? And aside from his daughter Gigi, like there were the other families that died on the plane, and then their children or their loved ones who survived that weren't on the plane. It's just so many families are crippled by this. Not only just the pop circle and everyone that loves pop culture and Laker fans and basketball fans, and it's just so many people are just lost people that they'll never get back ever again, and that their lives are changed forever. You know, we look at this from, oh my God, I feel so bad. Kobe, he was such a great ball player, great person, but truth of the matter is very few people knew Kobe, like that. Like there's people now that don't have moms, don't have dads, don't have, sisters, brothers, and that's just terrible. But rest in peace, Kobe.
At the end of the day, those two words, role model, obviously means a lot. You see, because it's sad if anybody dies, and it's horrible what everybody in this helicopter went through. But at the end of the day, we didn't grow up knowing these people. We grew up knowing Kobe, and that's why he was a role model to many, and that's why it hurts so bad.
No, it's true. All right, let's try to lighten the mood, if possible, a little bit. We are going to break down the AL Central this evening. We're going to go through the 5 teams, the Indians, the Royals, Tigers, Twins, and White Sox. We are going to give you our predictions on each team, and as well as cross over to the sports card market. We're going to give you some sleepers, some must-haves, and some no-thank-yous for each team. First, we're going to start with the Cleveland Indians. All right now they are projected, according to RotoChamp, as finishing second in the NL Central with 92 wins. Their lineup is projected: Francisco Lindor, Oscar Mercado, Carlos Santana, Jose Ramirez, Franmil Reyes, Cesar Hernandez, Jake Bauers, Roberto Perez, Greg Allen. Their pitching staff is projected to be Mike Clevenger, Justin Bieber, just kidding, Carlos Carrasco, Aaron Saval, and Zach Plesac. With all that information being given, Derek, what are your thoughts on the Cleveland Indians?
So for me, the Cleveland Indians, the past couple years have really just been a solid team. They always put it together. They still have a strong unit out there. I like that they were projected in number 2 spot. I think that's just about accurate. Um, a sleeper for that team. I love I almost said Justin Bieber, but I love Shane Bieber as a sleeper, and then of course Francisco Lindor is my main guy. As far as the other bats, they're not that bad, but Jose Fernandez did fall off a little bit last year. Looking for him to have a good comeback.
Who's Jose
Um,
Fernandez, bro? You mean Jose
oh, Jose
Ramirez?
Ramirez. Yeah, yeah. You know what I meant. But no, they're overall they're a good team. They did lose Kluber, so we'll see how they fare out. But I think
Lewis,
they still could put it together.
thoughts for you, Lewis, on Cleveland?
I'm going to make it nice and quick with this team. I find them to be middle of the road. I like Lindor. Love Lindor as a player and as a person, but I think he's going to be traded before season's over, so I would assume he's going to be gone. Jose Ramirez, big fan, always hurt. Carlos Santana, I like, but not enough to carry a team. Pitching, I like Clevenger. I like Bieber, and that's about it. It's not enough to make them more than middle of the road. I would say if I had to take a shot on somebody, I don't even know he's called up yet, but I like Bo Naylor, and I would stay away from Zach Plesac. I don't think he's going to be more than a 4 at best, and that's it. I just find the middle of the road, nothing attractive. Don't love anybody.
All right. So Lewis and I disagree a little bit. All right, we agree on Lindor. I love Lindor. I think so. I was looking him up. He's only 25 years old. I was looking at potential buy low candidates today. Had nothing to do with this podcast. And I was like, you know what? Lindor's sneaky. You know, he's 25. I think he had 130 home runs. And he's going to probably get traded eventually to a big market team is what I'm guessing. He's sneaky, man. But do I think he's going to reach 500 home runs? No. But, I mean, he definitely has a Hall of Fame type career ahead of him. He keeps this up. I like Mercado. I think he's sneaky. I think he's fast. Having Lindor and Mercado at the top of that lineup is dangerous. Carlos Santana as a 3 is very solid. People sleep on him. He's got power, and he gets on base a lot. He takes tons of walks. Jose Ramirez, I'm expecting a bounce back personally. I think that having Santana and then Ramirez, even if Ramirez gets back to half of what he used to be, that's a huge upgrade. Then you got Franmil Reyes, which has proven he's a power hitter in the league. I like Franmil Reyes. So now you got some guys like Lindor, who's going to get on base. Santana gets on base. Ramirez has proven he could get on base before. Mercado's the only question mark, but he's hit last year. Now you have Reyes to bring these guys in. So I think that's a very, very, very underrated 5. Cesar Hernandez, he is what he is. He's a utility guy, solid. Jake Bowers, not sold on him. Roberto Perez, I mean, he's all right for a catcher. There's not a lot of talent in the catcher pool. And then Greg Allen, I mean, he's just an outfielder, whatever. But I think that there are a lot worse teams than the Indians as far as batting goes. Their pitching staff is very underrated, I think. I think Clevenger is legit. Bieber is legit. People are forgetting about Carlos Carrasco. He's proven year in and year out he's an ace. I mean, unfortunately, he had leukemia, and that kept him out last year. But if he's back in there, this guy has proven he's an elite starter. Aaron Saval, he pitched well last year. And then I actually love Zach Plesac. I think he's a sleeper as well. To round out the rotation, I'd actually go as far as saying let's buy some Plesac on a sleeper. From a sleeper standpoint, Zach Plesac is cheap enough to take a shot. I'm also buying Lindor. His stuff isn't cheap, but you know what? Stack up on those 2015 Topps Update Lindors. They're about $80 a pop right now, I believe. Is that right, Derek?
They're around that price point. I don't think they might be even a little lower, honestly, but
I like them. I'd stay away from from Jose Ramirez, but I also like Franmil Reyes. I think that if he puts up another solid year in the power department with 40-plus home runs, I think his value doubles at least where it's at now. Because then the people are going to be like, oh, you know what? This guy's got a legit power bat. And there's not many people like that in the bigs that consistently put up those numbers. So that's somebody to look at because his stuff's cheap. And then even Shane Bieber. I mean, his stuff's relatively cheap too. So those are some guys on the no thank yous. Carlos Santana, he's a good talent, but from an investment standpoint, no thanks. Jose Ramirez, although I expect him to bounce back, it's going to be tough because people are always going to remember the past 2 years. So I don't think his value will ever get back to where it was when it peaked. And then for must-haves, I think you got to have yourself some Lindor. You got to have at least a couple of those updates. Even if you could grab some gold, if you really want to spend up, get that sparkle. That sparkle's pretty tough. What is that?
Oh man, the PSA 10 Sparkle I think is like a pop 3.
Yeah,
Like it's
they're over
impossible.
$1,000.
Easy, yeah.
But I think you need to have Lindor. I think Lindor is a very safe play just because he's so young and his value can go so much higher than what it is right now. Like, Lindor is a sexy name. He's got a smile that, although he's not your prototypical white dude, he's got a smile that just lights up a room and everyone likes him, right? People gravitate towards Francisco Lindor.
Yeah.
And I think that's only going to help his value if he moves to like a team like LA, if he moves to a team like the Yankees, even the Mets. If Lindor somehow made his way to the Mets, I know Lewis, besides Lewis being so happy, I mean, his value would just go through the roof.
Yeah.
I wish.
So, all right. So that's them. We'll get back to them at the end so we could rank them. But now let's touch base on the Kansas City Royals. So I had them last year going to the World Series in a future bet. That turned out really good. But I had 100-1 odds. So you know what? I'm going to take that again if I have 100-1 odds. But here's what we're looking at with them. We got Whit Merrifield leading off, according to RotoChamp. Alberto Mondesi at 2, Soler at 3, Dozier at 4, Salvador Perez at 5, Alex Gordon at 6, Ryan O'Hearn 7, Michael Franco at 8, and Nicky Lopez at 9. Like, oh my goodness, that's going to sucker me in again. Like, I like that lineup. Going to the pitching staff, we got Danny Duffy, Brad Keller, Jake Junis, Mike Montgomery, and Jorge Lopez. That would get me away from it. But, Lewis, what do you think of the Royals?
I think that the Indians, Twins, and White Sox should be ecstatic that the Royals and Tigers are in their division. That's first off. I think the Royals and Tigers are both candidates for 100 losses. As far as catcher goes, Salvador Perez, I guess he's one of the best ones around because just nobody really has a good backstop. Let's see. Merrifield, I think, had a great season. Big fan of Merrifield.
He's good.
I'd say my buy candidate would be Bobby Witt Jr. My stay away candidate would definitely be Chance Adams.
He's on the team?
He's on the team. And this starting pitching, I mean, Danny Duffy is a number 1. No. And then everybody else, trash bags.
Oh, no,
I had Jacob Junis in fantasy. I know exactly what he could provide. 6 wins, 15 losses at best. Everybody else stinks. Ian Kennedy lost his stuff. They were getting to him last year. It's going to get worse this year. Even though he's an 8-hitter, I like Maikel Franco. I always do. I don't know why. I watch him a lot because he used to play the Mets all the time when he was on the Phillies. I think he's better than advertised, but he's obviously falling. I didn't see him becoming an 8-hitter for the Royals, but he is. But I just think this team's young. They have a long way to go. I just do not think they could compete, not with this staff that they have.
So, Derek, agree or disagree?
I would agree on all that stuff. I like some of their guys in the lineup, but it's just there's no one in there that really pops for me. Like even Salvador Perez, I know that everybody's been loving him for a long time, but he's just an average guy at the end of the day for me. He plays good ball behind the plate, don't get me wrong, but if there was one guy that I really loved on the team, it would be Whit Merrifield. He's a little bit older. I wouldn't say buy him. Love him. I know that you love Alberto Mondesi. I think that he's a good guy to put in some runs. If he went to a big team, like I know you've said in the past, I mean, that guy puts up 40 steals every year. If he was on like the Red Sox or the Yankees or a team that just produced runs, I guarantee you he'd be hitting 120 runs a year. But he's on the Royals, so I mean the pitch in there, I don't like them. They're at the bottom of my list, and there's not much else to say about them.
I'll say this, okay? If you gave the Kansas City Royals the Cleveland Indians pitching staff, I like them more than the Cleveland Indians. I think you can win a World Series with a staff with that hitting. I love Whit Merrifield. I think that's somebody that can legitimately be a tough out regular season and postseason, just a great hitter. I love Mondesi. He's an elite talent. He's a unique talent, skill set, somebody that could actually go 30-30, right? He has the potential to do that. Not many guys in the league can. I think Soler showed last year some life, and he showed that he could actually be what people thought he was going to be.
That's just bananas, though, last year.
But
like
everyone knew he had that talent.
Yeah.
Everyone was talking about it. It just didn't come, and now it did. I think Hunter Dozier as a cleanup hitter isn't great, but I think you could do a lot worse than having somebody like Hunter Dozier in your lineup. Salvador Perez, when healthy, he's proven he could be an elite player at the position. Ryan O'Hearn and Alex Gordon, that's where it gets a little weak. But Michael Franco and Nicky Lopez. Nicky Lopez was a highly touted prospect. I like Nicky Lopez, and I like Michael Franco. I think there are a lot worse lineups in Major League Baseball than the Kansas City Royals. Problem is, when you have Danny Duffy, Brad Keller, Jake Junis, Mike Montgomery, Jorge Lopez, Ian Kennedy, like that gets ugly fast. You are playing from behind every game. It's going to be ugly unless one of them, two of them, three of them surprise us, which I don't see happening. But I do love the lineup.
Did you say, I'm sorry, not to cut you off. Did you say if the Royals had the Indians pitching staff that they'd be better than the Indians?
Yeah, I like their hitting more than the Indians.
Yeah, well, but they don't have the Indians pitch. I mean, if the Mets had the Nationals pitching staff and Mike Trout instead of Brandon Nimmo, they'd be World Series champs too. But I mean, they don't. But that's what I'm saying. You got what you work with in that lineup.
Great, though, for what it is, right?
Great.
Great.
Well, I wouldn't say great. I'd say that they have a good. It's diverse, right? Like for a 1-2, you could start off with Alberto and Witt, and then you could have like a power guy up there like Soler. It's not a bad. It's not a bad like lineup, but I just with that pitching staff, it just
they had 54, 55, 56 wins.
Yeah,
this is not a lineup that's turning a team around.
But
no
they
way.
Had that year with no Salvador Perez, Mondesi missed significant time.
Okay.
So you have two of your best hitters out.
Yeah, but look at those two hitters. You're telling me Salvador Perez and Mondesi are guys that's going to turn a team around for 10 to 15 wins?
I truly think Adalberto Mondesi is an X factor. I think you put him on any team and he gives him a shot at being a competitor. You put him on the Mets will be way better. You put him on a team like the Yankees, that could be a World Series championship Yankee team without Garrett Cole putting Alberto Mondesi on that team. He's somebody that's just, you don't want to go against somebody as a pitcher, somebody that could take you deep, or somebody that if you walk, they're going to take second and third on you. That's like something that you hate as a pitcher to go against. Yeah. And there's very few guys that could do that. It's like if we pitch to him, he could take me deep. And if I try to be cute, he's going to have a triple anyway after his walk. You know what I mean? Like there's Billy Hamilton is the only person that could even come close speed-wise, and he can't hit a lick. And Mondesi's proven he could hit, you know? And he plays an elite shortstop. So, I mean, that's why I'm just very high on Mondesi, just because I think talent-wise, he's one of the, if not the most underrated player in Major League Baseball. As far from a batting standpoint, just what he brings to the table. And you know what? A big market team's going to spend on him when he's a free agent next year. They're going to go hard on him. He's 24, 25 years old. That dude is legit. But yeah, they're going to be in last place again. That being said, right now. But you never know, man. They make a trade. They get like a James Shields from when James Shields was James Shields when they were trying to make that run. You never know, man. They're like one or two moves away from making a push. It's not like the rest of the division's nasty, you know?
James Shields.
I mean, White Sox and the Twins are looking pretty good. I wouldn't say that they're not nasty.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I like the Royals lineup as much as I like the Twins lineup. I really do. But the problem is there's no pitching staff.
No.
There's no pitching staff. But all it takes is some injuries, right? What if the Twins lose Escobar? I mean, whatever. Say he's done. Like if the Twins get 1 or 2 injuries, the White Sox get 1 or 2 injuries, everything, you know what I mean? Paper's paper. Everything looks good on paper. The regular season starts, anything could happen.
I agree. I agree. Anything could happen. I don't agree that a team with 100+ wins loses one guy changes the whole mojo of the team. And I don't believe a team with 50 wins losing one guy changes the mojo of the team. I think the Royals are horrible and the Twins are way better. That lineup won 100+ games last year. They're double better than the Royals were.
All right,
They're not close. They're not close.
All right. So let's move then on to the Tigers. We're going to come back to the Royals. But actually,
by the way, James Shields' only claim to fame was giving up the home run to Bartolo Colon. I just want to put that out there.
No, you know what though? James Shields, though, when they got him, he was a good guy to have in Kansas City when they were making that push. Like if they get, but they need an ace still. They need like a young guy to come up. Who do they have right now in the farm? Who does Kansas City have?
I have no idea, honestly.
Chance Adams.
Luke Hosenberg?
Yeah. It's bad.
So, all right. As far as investments go, if you're going to buy on a sleeper. He's still too cheap. Alberto Mondesi. I love Whit Merrifield, but stay away from him from investment purposes like Derek said.
Yeah.
And then even Salvador Perez, you'll see a little uptick in value, I think, if he starts hitting. His stuff's kind of cheap. I mean, it's still more than it should be probably right now given his past couple of years, but if you want to get cute, you could probably buy some, Salvador Perez and see a little uptick in value. And then no thank you on everyone else. Maybe Soler, actually. Maybe I'd put a little down on Soler. I'd invest a little bit because you know what? If he puts up another 40 home run season and proves he could play, he's an exciting player. I think that people are just going to want to believe the hype from 5 years ago and start jumping on him again. All right, moving on to the Tigers. This is what Roto Champ has them projected as 1 through 9. Jacoby Jones, Nico Goodrum, Miguel Cabrera, CJ Crone, Christian Stewart, Jonathan Schoop, Jameer Candelario, Austin Romine, Victor Reyes. Then their pitching staff 1 to 7 is Matt Boyd, Jordan Zimmerman, Daniel Norris, Spencer Turnbull, Ivan Nova, Tyler Alexander, and Michael Fulmer. With all that information, Derek, what do you think of the Detroit Tigers?
I don't know half the people that you just named, and I love baseball. I know Miguel Cabrera and Scoop and all those other guys, like a couple of those other guys, but that is just like they're the Orioles. That the Tigers are another Orioles.
Tell me this. Tell me the Royals lineup isn't better than the Tigers.
By far.
Oh no, I'm not going to argue that. I think that they're better. But for me they're still low.
But
they're
the
still
pitching staff, like the Tigers staff is better than the Royals. And that's not saying much. The Royals the Tigers staff is garbage.
Everybody on the Tigers is just this is why both teams lost over 100 games last year is because the Royals have a terrible pitching staff, and then look at the Tigers bats. Like I could probably strike out half of those guys. I feel confident in that.
Yeah. I do too. I actually agree with you.
What do you think, Lewis?
I think the only reason why the Royals aren't in last is because the Tigers are in this division. And why the Royals have about 4 or 5 more wins than the Tigers had is because they probably beat the Tigers, because both these teams are terrible. Now, this Tigers team is really bad. We're talking about 120 losses. The only guy on this team with a name is Cabrera, but he's a shell, not even 1/10 of what he used to be. The pitching staff, terrible. Speaking to a friend of mine who's a major Tigers fan, I actually asked him questions about Kristen Stewart because by accident I have like 50 auto cards of him, and he's like, don't even get your hopes up. He goes, besides Casey Mize, there's nobody on that team that should even be playing Major League Baseball. And I think he was serious. And looking at this lineup, I sort of agree.
Well, RotoChamp has them projected to win 48 games.
Yeah. Okay, I could agree with that. I like that, RotoChamp.
So what is that, 114 losses?
Yeah, that's
bad. But can you? But like that Tigers team, like what was it? Maybe not even 10 years ago was just like fireballs. Like
Well, supposedly Kenny Rogers is making a comeback.
yeah,
Kenny Rogers. I hate that guy.
Wasn't he a Met at one point?
Yeah, he walked Chipper Jones with the bases loaded to lose the NLCS.
Didn't they bring him in out of the bullpen?
Unbelievable. He pitched a one-hitter for the Yankees to win the World Series, and then he comes to the Mets and walks in the winning run. I'm telling you, you want your career to die? Come to the Mets.
Ask Johan Santana.
That's brutal. As far as the Tigers go, look, if you're gonna buy Casey Mize, we didn't talk about him.
Yeah, he's good, but
he has a shot to be a legitimate ace for the next 10 years plus.
No, he said Casey Mize is the only guy. That's it.
I just so happen to have his super fractor from Bowman Draft 2018. I'm saying. Well, not
Casey Mize. Casey Mize is going to be the first guy to win a Cy Young with a losing record because of that lineup. I'm telling you right now, he's going to be a Felix Hernandez.
Well, if you're going to have something as a staple of your collection, listen, Miguel Cabrera is going to be a Hall of Famer.
Of course.
Yeah. So you can't go wrong buying a little Mickey. His value's down actually right now. If you want to get one of his iconic like auto rookies, they're actually cheaper than they've ever been, So his call to the Hall's coming in the next 8 to 10 years.
For sure.
But yeah, I'm done with talking about them because there's really nothing
Jeff,
to talk about.
Real quick, Jeff Howard said that Matt Manning is legit and that Daz Cameron is completely overrated.
Okay. I agree with the Manning. Daz Cameron, I haven't seen him much. I don't even know. What's he in? AA? A-ball?
I don't know, but I know his father was a decent Met, Mike Cameron. He was okay.
I mean, I assume usually the children are better than the parents from recent history. So maybe he is. I don't know. We'll see. Moving on to the Minnesota Twins, one of the most overrated teams, I think, in Major League Baseball. But let's break it down. According to RotoChamp has them at 102 wins, leading the division over the Indians by 8 wins. Whew. I don't know if I agree with that. We got projected lineup: Max Kepler, Jorge Polanco, Nelson Cruz, Josh Donaldson, Eddie Rosario, Mitch Garver, Luis Arias, Miguel Sano, and Byron Buxton. Look, love the hitters, so that's not why I'm talking about them. This is why I'm talking about them. Jose Berrios, love him. Odorizzi, Homer Bailey, Randy Dobnik, that's the Uber driver, right? I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Devin Smeltzer and Lewis Thorpe. So I'll let Lewis break it down, but don't think I'm saying they're overrated because they're hitting. I love their hitting, and I'll break down after you guys talk about it some of my sleepers on the team, but that pitching staff is just as bad, if not worse, than the Cleveland Indians. Because you know what? You could make an argument that Carlos Carrasco, who's the Indians' 3, is just as good as Jose Berrios. But anyway, Lewis, what do you think of the Cleveland Indians?
We're talking the Minnesota Twins. Right?
Minnesota Twins, sorry.
Right. I'm not going to disagree with you as far as the pitching staff comparison because I actually agree with you there. Now, Royals and Tigers being so bad, we're really talking first, second, and third place. That's how we're going to intertwine everything. So I'm assuming all three of us are going to go Royals, Tigers in some fashion for fourth and fifth. So I do agree as far as a comparison on the pitching staffs. But this lineup, especially now, they move Sano over to first base. Josh Donaldson comes in at third. They are tough. This lineup is the toughest in that division. Love the Twins. Berrios, I think, is a solid number 1. Eddie Rosario, love him. Donaldson's going to crush it. Sano hit his 30-plus homers, bat 220. And Kepler, wasn't he just an all-star?
I love Kepler.
And he's leading off?
I like Kepler.
Right. And Nelson Cruz is going to do his 40 homers, 120 RBIs, maybe more. I mean, this team, top to bottom, is stacked when it comes to hitting in a division where the pitching stinks. That's a lot of wins. But my buy candidate, and again, I don't know the baseball card world, but if they have cards or not, my buy candidate would be Alex Krylov and Royce Lewis, and I would stay away from Williams.
Oh yeah, Williams Astudillo.
Bartolo Colon, you said?
Yeah, right.
La
Same, right?
Tortuga.
Yeah.
Derek, what do you think?
I like them. I think they have a good team. Top to bottom, their lineup is really strong. I like there's like Lewis just said. I think their hitting is superb. Probably one of the best in the league, if not the best. And they're just overall for this division, they're a pretty solid team. You got Rich Hill in there now on the mound. If he comes back and he does what he did for the Dodgers, I think he could win some games in there for him. He's pretty good. Barrios, I love Barrios. And then, what's funny is I was just looking at Nelson Cruz. This guy is an older dude at 38, but he's belting 40 home runs and hitting 100 ribbies the past, I don't know, 5-6 years.
They have him penciled in for 41 and 109, by the way.
And I think that's low. How about that?
Dude.
After looking at those stats we were just looking at, I think it could be low.
Yeah.
So I think they're gonna be good this year.
All right. So
can I make a comparison real quick?
Yeah.
I had to bring up football for a second. All right, the New England Patriots, right? I'm not crapping on their dynasty. I understand who they are and I respect greatness. I get it. But when you're in a division with the Jets, Bills, and Dolphins, you're pretty much guaranteed 5-6 wins a year.
Mm-hmm.
So you could rest your guys. You know you're going to win the division. So you have healthy guys. You're not having to, put your stars in for all 16 weeks where they're getting beat up. And I'm using that as an analogy with this division. The Twins are going to win the kind of games they're going to win and go far again because of who they play. They're going to get so many wins against the Tigers and Royals.
Yeah.
Come mid-season, they could rest the guy with a little, muscle strain or something instead of, having to put them on DL for 14 days and then maybe losing 10 games because they're stars on the shelf. You can mix and match and do a whole bunch of different possibilities when you're playing garbage on a daily basis. And that AL Central has two teams that are going to lose over 100 games. That matters.
I mean, yeah. And now that I'm looking over their pitching, I like Jose Barrios. I like Jake Odorizzi and Rich Hill. They have those are some solid dudes for a 1-2-3. And then you have Pineda, who's not that bad. Pineda as a number 4 even, or a number 3 I like it.
All right, here's what I look at. Okay. Let's fast forward. They finished first. Okay, we're at the end of 2020. Twins clinch a playoff berth. Okay?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Now we got one of the best hitting lineups in baseball. Okay? Now let's just say they find themselves against the New York Yankees.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Yankees are healthy. Garrett Cole, game 1. Now, it's been proven time and time again, no matter how you look at it in history, good pitching beats good hitting most of the time. So now just say they get past Garrett Cole in game 1. Now you go after one of the best postseason pitchers in recent history, Masahiro Tanaka. Okay? Now just say you get past Tanaka. Now you got to go against Paxton, who would most likely be an ace on half of the AL teams right now. Okay? Now, say you do beat him. Wow, you swept the Yankees. Congratulations. Next up, Justin Verlander. Like, it's going to get to the point now where, all right, you beat Verlander. Now who are you beating? Now say you get to the World Series. Congratulations. Game 1, Max Scherzer or Steven Strasburg. Like, you're not going to win with that team. It's not possible unless you build your pitching staff. You can't win. So while they may look like a great team compared to the Royals, the Tigers, we'll touch base on the White Sox. I think that we're just talking about right now the AL Central. And yes, they're good for what the AL Central is, but it is what it is. That team's not going to win. You can't win. It's not. There's too many teams you'd have to get by that are better than you as far as pitching. You could add, let's say, you could put Giancarlo Stanton in that lineup. It wouldn't make a difference at that point because that lineup's so good already that if you're not going to be able to hit Verlander, you're not going to be able to hit Cole. It doesn't matter, you know? But
yeah, but you hit the nail on the head when you said outside of the division. We're talking AL East only. Yeah, they might have 100 wins, but that's because they're in the AL East. Now, for a different podcast, if we could talk about our division winners, who's going to progress and go further in the playoffs, that's a separate issue. But for the AL Central, the Twins is royalty.
I just don't like how you're talking
That's
about
just
my
the way it
Royals.
is.
That's why.
I mean, sometimes you're in a crappy division.
I'm just saying, if you throw away the Twins in this and you put in another, like, Royals and Tigers, I mean, you're just giving your team 20 wins for the year easily, like on top. But so I do agree with it, but yeah.
Minimum.
All right. Well, from a card standpoint, listen, there's a lot of guys you could get cute with on the Twins, actually. There's a lot of guys that are undervalued. Right now, Luis Arias is a good sleeper candidate. He's in 2019 Topps Update. I think even Max Kepler is kind of undervalued. Byron Buxton. Listen, it happens all the time, right? People are so high on somebody year in, year out, they disappoint. But if that person ever does click, everyone's going to want to be on the bandwagon because they want to be like, I told you so. I told you this guy was a power speed monster. Although he hasn't done it yet in the last 4 years, I think he does have the potential, man. Eventually it's going to click. You might see a 40-40, 30-30 year out of Byron Buxton as soon as this year. And his stuff is cheap.
40-40.
I mean, Buxton could hit. Have you seen Buxton run? He looks like
40-40?
a straight gazelle.
Bro, he bats 250, 225.
Doesn't matter. The guy has legit pop. The guy's
I don't know.
Always hurt.
Exactly. That's the point. But if he puts up one of those seasons, his value is going to skyrocket. Not because he put up that season, because people could put up elite seasons and their value doesn't go up that much because people don't believe. People want to believe in Byron Buxton because they've been talking him up for so long and he's yet to produce. Kind of like Jorge Soler, but differently because this guy has a different skill set. But still, I mean, I think
if you notice in baseball more than any sport, even more than football, if you notice when a guy is hurt and then he keeps getting hurt and it's chronic, it never stops. This guy has been hurt since 2013. He never plays. The best ability is availability, and he doesn't have any ever.
Well, I'm talking from a card standpoint, though. So I'm saying his stuff is so cheap right now. You could get in on it. What is he? 2015, I think, as well. 2015 Topps Update. His stuff's going to jump real high, real fast. If all of a sudden if he's at the end of May, he's like the 5th ranked fantasy player. You know, if he's putting up one of those seasons where he's raking and running, and you're looking at somebody that after May, he's sitting at like 12 and 20. I mean, things could get real interesting on his card value. My man could run. My man, I think he has one of the fastest times from first to home in baseball. I think it was something stupid, like 13 seconds? Less than that even. It was ridiculous. Byron Buxton's a reindeer, man. But
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I got excited because I was looking at, like I said, I was looking at Nelson Cruz before. This guy is only 100 homers away from getting to 500. So I don't even think it would be a bad idea to put something of his away just for the hell of it. For $50, buy a rookie card and put it aside. Because he's a DH, he's been producing the last 7 years straight, and he's just starting to make money. And I think he's going to want to continue to make money. So I honestly think like Nelson Cruz, he's 38. Okay, so he's a little bit older, but he's been smacking 40 home runs since he was 30. So forget about his 20s. If this guy hits 500 home runs, that's it. I feel like he's in the Hall of Fame. You can't keep anybody out with 500 home runs. He's not a first ballot.
Keep somebody out with 493.
Exactly. No,
and
that's
a
shame.
And if Cruz only knew how to catch a fly ball, the Rangers would have a World Series. An easy one.
All right.
How funny would it be if he becomes like a fringe Hall of Famer where a ring would have put him in and it's his fly ball he didn't catch that keeps him out?
They're like, nope. They're like 550 home runs
Right?
and
How
a drop
crazy would
ball.
that be?
Good night.
Yeah. All right, moving on.
But honestly, I don't even know. So necessarily, you could get cute if you want to listen to Derek and do Nelson Cruz. Me personally, I wouldn't be buying Nelson Cruz, just because he's not. I mean, when I think of Nelson Cruz, so Edgar Martinez was phenomenal, by the way. Don't get me wrong, but he's like an Edgar Martinez,
Right.
you know. Except he doesn't even hit for as much average, I bet, than Edgar Martinez. But Edgar didn't sell. He never sold. His cards still don't sell, and he's in the Hall of Fame. So I mean, what's the upside on a guy like Nelson Cruz? That's what you have to think about when you're buying. His stuff might be cheap, but what's the upside? He's not going to jump up to like Lindor prices, you know.
The whole game plan with those is as soon as he hits 500 home runs, sell them. Just like CC. When CC, I held on to CC cards. I PC'd CC for a very long time, and I still have a insane collection of CC. I did sell when he hit that 3,000 Ks though, and I'm telling you, his stuff literally tripled overnight. So if that's something that you're interested in and maybe taking a risk on, I'm saying if you're buying 50 to 100, don't go out and buy $1,000 worth of Nelson Cruz, but
all right, what do you see it jumping up? What percentage?
100% at least.
Okay.
Because no one who has Nelson Cruz in their PC right now, nobody. And then people collect seriously like 500 home run rookies. People go after those for their PSA registry. Like people go really, really hard for that. They want all the 500 home run club rookies and all that stuff. So that's like a serious thing.
All right, well, we got to move on. We're running out of time. I agree, though, actually. A short term, that's not a bad play, actually. So now we're going to move on to the final team, the Chicago White Sox. We went with... So Roto Champ has them projected third in the division. They have them at 72 wins. I think that's what they had last year, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Yon Moncada, Tim Anderson, Jose Abreu, Yasmani Grandal, Edwin Encarnacion, Eloy Jimenez, Luis Robert, Nomar Mazar, and Lurie Garcia. First thing is, not one of those guys speaks English. Second, we're going to go to the pitching staff. Lucas Giolito, Dallas Keuchel, Gio Gonzalez, Ronaldo Lopez, Dylan Cease. Is that crazy, though? There's not one who, I mean, I'm sure somebody speaks English, but they're all Hispanic, the whole team.
Yeah, but honestly, those guys could ball.
Oh, no, I know.
I love all those names. Yeah, no, I know. I agree with you, though. It is quite funny.
So, Lewis, what do you think of the Chicago White Sox this year? And then we'll get to Derek, and then I'll end it off.
Very exciting team. I love this lineup. First of all, the upgrade at catcher with Grandal might not be the best, but he's better than James McCann, who's the backup who started last year's games. So to have a guy who started almost all your games as a backup, I think that's a plus when it comes to the catcher spot. I watched a lot of White Sox games. Don't ask me why, but I did because I'm a huge Jose Abreu fan. I think he has so much in the tank. I think he's solid. I think he's consistent. Moncada, I think, was better than Eloy. When I was watching the White Sox play, Moncada was the one that kept catching my eye. Eli. I'm so used to Eli. Eli Manning commercials, right? Eloy is exciting. And you see greatness in him. And I could see why his card prices are what they are. But when you're watching games with your eye, instead of just believing what people say, Moncada was, if not better. Maybe I'm crazy, but the games I saw, Moncada is the real deal. Now, Luis Robert, they paid him for a reason. I mean, they gave him an extension and all this money for a reason. He's actually my buy candidate. I'm sure everybody knows that already. But I do have faith in Luis Robert. I guess my not buy candidate I have written down is Ronaldo Lopez. The starting pitching, Giolito, Keuchel, Rodon. Rodon, I'm pretty sure was their number one last year, and I watched him pitch a lot. Another guy, as long as he gets it together, 15, 16, maybe 20 wins on a crazy season. It would have to be a crazy season, but he has the stuff to do it. Giolito fan, and I've always been a Keuchel fan. So they might have only had 70-something wins, but with that lineup, and Edwin Encarnacion also they brought over. So you're going to get 100 RBIs out of this guy. He's like Nelson Cruz.
Yeah, just
Those guys.
just don't make the
same.
playoffs and you're good.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying, though? But what I'm saying
Stop.
is he's going to get his 30, 40 homers, 100 RBIs just because. So that lineup's just as solid, but I think the pitching upgrades put them over the hump. I think that the competitors, big-time competitors this year with the Twins. I think it's
had
between
them
those
winning the
two.
World Series last year, too, on a future bet. And then that went to shambles, too, because everyone got injured on that team. But I agree. I agree with a lot of what you're saying.
And they got Gio Gonzalez, too, don't they?
Yeah, he's penciled in as the 3 right now, according to RotoChamp.
Well, I have zero problem with that pitching staff. Now that's acquisitions that I believe makes a difference. I think they have a 10 to 15 game swing, which makes them 85, 90-ish win type team.
Derek, what do you think?
Dude, oh man, I love this team. This team is exciting. I'm really excited to see the pitching this year. I love Giolito. I think he's an ace. Kopech, I'm excited to see Kopech finally come up. If he stays healthy, it's going to be exciting. Dallas Keuchel. I mean, those 3 guys right there are going to win you some games for sure. And then their lineup is just phenomenal. I love their whole lineup. Luis Robert, dude, if Luis Robert is the real deal and he's a legit playmaker like that, it's going to be phenomenal. Plus, you got Eloy. I love Eloy smacking home runs. Yasmani Grandal. The whole lineup, top to bottom, is just something different. Like, I don't even know. I think they're going to be at the top of their game this year, and I think they have a legit chance. I know they have a young team, but I think they could put it together. You got Jose Abreu and Moncada that have been there up there for a little bit now too. This team is just scary. They have scary bats, and if their pitching comes together like it can, because we all know that it can come together, it's going to be insane.
I think what people are forgetting, you guys haven't mentioned him either. Nomar Mazara is a huge acquisition for that team.
Yes.
Nomar Mazara has proven for stretches of time, for extended periods of time, he could be a top bat in the league. Now, he hasn't been able to put necessarily together a huge season, but right now they have him penciled in as an 8-hitter.
That's scary.
I think he could be possibly the best 8-hitter in baseball right now, him and Michael Franco. But you have Yoan Moncada. He's starting to put it together. He's still young. Tim Anderson had a great season last year.
Oh, I forgot to talk about him. I love him too.
Jose Abreu's a glue guy, right? You get like the same numbers every year out of Jose Abreu.
Yeah.
Yasmani Grandal. I'm not as high on him as other people are, but I think he's still, for how weak the catcher position is in all of baseball, I think he's a plus catcher. Encarnacion, I think this is going to be the year you see a big decline in Encarnacion. Like, if he did not finish the season this year and wound up bouncing to like 7 different teams over the next year and a half, I wouldn't be surprised if this is the end of Edwin. After seeing what he did in the postseason last year, he looked lost, he looked slow, he looked old, and he looked washed. And I would not be surprised if Edwin Encarnacion finished this year with 18 home runs through 480 at-bats, and you saw him on the Tigers the year after, and then you saw him get traded to the Twins and a playoff contender the year after that, and he just disappeared and you forgot about him. Eloy Jimenez, if he stays healthy, he has 40 home runs. Luis Robert, this is going to be the X factor. Luis Robert's the X factor, right? Everyone's high on him. He's been playing at an elite level in AA, single A, somewhat elite level in AAA. It caught up to him a tiny bit when he got to AAA. But this guy has proven he could run, he could hit for power, he could hit for average, he could get on base. All right? So now, if this guy is actually the real deal, I know we bank on these guys all the time. You bank on, like, Yoan Moncada was supposed to be Luis Robert, right? 5 years ago. He wasn't, right? But if Luis Robert, let's just say, for argument's sake, Luis Robert winds up being the guy, the elite guy, the guy that people are like, wow, this is an Acuna.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Right? Now you have yourself a leadoff hitter. Now you have yourself Yo Moncada batting second. Now you have Abreu batting third, Eloy batting fourth, Abreu batting fifth, Tim Anderson batting sixth. Now that lineup gets really scary. And then you have somebody in Nomar Mazara that you could put seventh. You have Lori Garcia, although he doesn't hit for much average. The dude could run. So now you have somebody like him batting ninth, Moncada batting first, or Robert batting first, Moncada second. Now you got speed everywhere. Now you're going to have these guys just running. And you're going to have big bats like Abreu, and I'm not even mentioning Edwin, because in my head, I wrote him off. He's washed. But you have Eloy hitting, right? So I really do think that this has the potential. Robert, this is a big if, right? If you add Acuna to any team, is a big if. But I really do think this could wind up being one of the scariest lineups in baseball. If you move to the staff, though, I think Giolito takes a step back this year. I liked him last year. I just think it's very hard to, with his track record, I know he was a highly, highly ranked prospect throughout his whole career. And some guys do put it together later on. And it did click for him last year. But I agree with Roto Champ. They're having him at a 4.11 ERA. I think he's going to have like a high 3, low 4 ERA this year. Dallas Keuchel, I've never been a fan, man. I know you're high on him, Lewis. I'm not. I think he's just run out of gas in the tank. I think you're going to see just like a guy. It's like having J.A. Happ as your number 2. Gio Gonzalez is another guy. I think he's just at the tail end of his career. I think like these are just names, right? Like you feel confident, like, oh, wow, we're penciling Keuchel in. We're penciling Gio Gonzalez in. But the fact of the matter is, we could be looking at May. These guys could have 6+ ERAs, and you're just going to be in shambles. Ronaldo Lopez, he was another highly touted guy. He does have the talent. We saw last year some spurts of it where he just was pitching lights out. But you really want to rely on that guy. Rodon, everyone's always like, yo, this could be the guy, and then he's never the guy. But you're hoping like, oh, this could be the guy. Like you think he could have 20 wins potentially. But like he's never put up a year where you're like, oh, this is great. Next year he's going to definitely do it, So they're so far away on the pitching staff. But with that being said, they have a ray of light in Kopech, right? He could come up and be elite. If he does come up, I mean, if they're not in the playoff run, they're going to shut him down. But if they're in the playoff run, they could choose to bring him up late, rest him a little bit in the minors, and have him make a run towards the end, right? So now you could actually get lucky with him and Giolito. It's just they're so far, though, with the staff. But that being said, I like him as my sleeper to win the division.
Me too, yeah.
Just because their pitching staff isn't that much worse than the Twins. And I think that if everyone's clicking, one thing that the Twins don't have, aside from Buxton and Kepler, is speed, right? And Buxton's proven to be injury prone. If they can stay healthy, which nobody's shown really that they have injury problems too much in the past, Moncada could run, Anderson could run, Robert could run, Lurie Garcia could run. You're looking at three guys that could potentially steal 30+ bases. There's not many teams that have that type of speed at all. So, except for the Royals with Alberto Mondesi. I love him. Anyways, so with that being said, if you're looking to get in on a sleeper, Robert's not it because it's too late.
Yeah, you can't.
You can't get in on him. I just think that the only person you can really buy right now that's cheap enough where you can make any money on him is Michael Kopech for the White Sox. Again, good-looking white dude, blonde hair, blue eyes. They sell. All he has to do is perform at all, and people are going to want to buy his cards. For must-haves, I mean, you know what? For a sleeper, you could do Eloy too. His stuff's still kind of cheap compared to where you should be. Because if he puts up a full season like he did last year, if he were to double his stats, he's an elite power bat. I think his value doubles. So you could look at him. You could look at Kopech. Anyone else, you don't really want any stock in them, in my opinion. And there's no must-haves. There's no must-haves at this point. Robert could turn into that guy, but right now his price is too high, and he hasn't proven anything. He has no Major League Baseball at-bats under his belt. I'm staying away. If I didn't
Super
get him,
risky.
if I didn't get him already, right? So I had a couple Robert autos I picked up at 200, first Bowmans. If you didn't get him at 200, you didn't get him at 300, too late, man. Because anything else after that, you're just playing with fire. You know, when you can buy a Kopech auto for $3, you know?
Literally,
So
yeah.
you missed out. You missed the boat on that. But
You could win them in a FIlthbomb crack pack like I did.
that's it. That was actually a nasty one from, what was that, 18 Bowman. It was the Bowman Sterling insert, right?
Yep, PSA 10, baby.
Yeah, that's a nice card.
Got it for a third of the price. That's what happens.
So here we go. We're going to start with Lewis. Lewis, you're 1 through 5, AL Central.
All right, I think this is the easiest division for a third, fourth, and fifth because I think it's locked in. Tigers last, Royals right above them in 4, and Cleveland at 3. I'd be surprised if anybody handicaps it differently. I think those are locked. So it's really between the White Sox and the Twins. I love the White Sox. I want to jump on the bandwagon. I'm saying they're in second, not far behind, only because they were 28 and a half games out last year. I don't think the guys that came over are 28 and a half games better. So I think it'll be close.
Because if Eloy, remember that. Eloy was out.
I understand. Eloy was out. Tim Anderson was hurt majority of the season. They didn't have Keuchel, which you're not big on. I am. And by the way, I want everybody to understand this. I don't think Keuchel's an overpowering generational pitcher. I just enjoy pitchers that throw with finesse, that don't try to overpower you. And that's what he does. I just enjoy watching him. So I don't know if he's great. I just enjoy watching him. That's all. And Rodon, I've watched majority of his starts. And we're talking, if these batters could do what they do and the bullpen could keep a lead, this guy's going to be double-digit wins and eventually get high wins. I don't know if he's going to be a 20-game winner. I was probably exaggerating my point.
I mean,
but
anyone could be, right? You just need to get a little lucky.
Right. I mean, look, Porcello,
Yeah,
prime
Porcello
example.
too.
Guy wins a Cy Young. You don't even know who he was before that, and you haven't heard from him since. And now he's a Met. So that shows you where careers go to die. So they don't expect him to do good, obviously.
He's done.
He's done. So at the end of the day, I'm going White Sox in second, and I'm going to take Twins. But for the first time in all 6 divisions, if I'm wrong and you guys are right on this one, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if the White Sox pull this one out.
Derek.
So I had basically the same one as Lewis. I have the White Sox in first, just because if they could hold it together and their pitching does show up, I think they're one of the nastiest lineups in the league. I had the Twins right behind them, then the Indians, Royals, and Tigers, just because those 3 are those were too easy for me. I mean, they're bad for the most part. I mean, Indians, they're okay, but the Royals and Tigers are they both get 6th placed if I had to give them 6th.
Yeah. The Indians seem locked in at third because they just can't compete with the White Sox and Twins, but the Tigers and the Royals are so bad. So they're just stuck at third place, it seems.
So I have something a little different.
Shocker.
I got the White Sox. I got the Indians at 2. I think batting, they're not weak, and their pitching, you have to remember, they have the best pitching in this division. They really do. They have the best pitching, and we always say pitching wins.
Kluber's gone, and Kluber wasn't on there last year.
Bieber's legit. Clevenger, when he's healthy, is legit. And then I think Carrasco, you guys are forgetting, Carrasco was can I just, before we go, can I please pull up Carrasco's numbers for you guys?
With that whole him getting sick last year, it was tough to watch. I do love Cookie Carrasco. He's really good. I loved watching him for a number of years. I just don't know how he's going to bounce back.
Guys, all right, 2014, 2.55 ERA, 2015, 3.63, 2016, 3.32, 2017, 3.29, 2018, 3.38.
And 2019?
Last year, 5.29, but I mean, you're coming back from leukemia. And no, he's pitching with leukemia. He didn't even know he had it. So, I mean, my man, the fact that he pitched to a 5.29 with leukemia, I mean, that's even impressive. He was dizzy. He was weak. He was losing miles per hour on his fastballs. And he's still pitching. But you forget, that could be the best pitcher in that entire division. And the Indians have it. So I really do think that not only can the Indians finish in second, I think they have a chance to finish in first. Like, they have Lindor. He may be the best hitter in that division. You know what I mean?
It is also contingent upon them keeping him as well, because they are looking to possibly get rid of him. But because if they lose Lindor, you're losing like a really heavy piece to your chess game.
It's all over if they lose Lindor. Like, then the rankings that I just gave are out the window. But I also have the Twins ranked third for this reason. They have a lot of big boys on the team, right? And big boys tend to break down through a 162-game season, right? So Donaldson's proven he can't stay healthy, right? He gets injured a lot, Josh Donaldson. He's a big boy. You have Nelson Cruz, another big boy. He gets hurt now. Sano, he gets hurt now. You know, he was hurt last year too. He's a big boy. They got Mitch Garver and Williams Astudillo at catcher. Big boys. You know what I mean? So it's like, and then Byron Buxton, who's not a big boy, has been hurt every year. So it's like, on paper, it looks great. But I will go on the record and say I doubt that lineup's healthy for the majority of the season. You're not going to have that. You're going to have some scrubs penciled in, you know, them playing random dudes, just guys, to get a warm body in. So that's why I have them at third. I have the Royals at fourth, and I have the Tigers at fifth. That's where I'm at. So we're a little different there. But
I mean, anything could happen with injuries. I agree with you with the Twins. They do have a lot of bigger dudes, but I don't know. I just like those bats, and I'm just weary on the Indians pitching staff. So I could be wrong. I don't think that it's bad, but we could all agree that I think the White Sox are going to be 1 or 2, and then the Royals and Tigers are for the fifth.
And you know what I want to do too? Sometime this week on one of our podcasts, we'll do some Vegas future bets, prop bets. We'll put out some value bets that we think are actually smart plays as far as over or unders on win totals for the season, World Series odds. So I think that would be fun. You guys think that would be a good idea?
I'd love to do something like that. That'd be super fun.
You know, and even some over under on the win totals for pitchers like Jacob deGrom. Is he going to be able to go over under 10 wins?
Oh my God!
Hilarious. My six divisions, I think, are so on point that everybody watching our podcasts are really going to want to pay attention to what I'm saying. So I'll come up with some good prop bets. Because at this point, I don't know who's
for 40 home runs. So be careful.
I mean, I don't know who's going to listen to you, because you already have the Pirates outscoring the Reds, and they lost Marte today. I don't think the Pirates are going to outscore my little league team, man.
Yeah, well, I didn't know Marte's gone when I'm making that bet. All right, so
yeah, his 23 homers were really going to carry you far with that bet.
No, I'm looking more towards speed, and I'm high on Josh Bell. A lot of people aren't, so that's what made me. And Reds, now they got Castellanos too, so yeah, it's a little different. A lot has changed since that bet. A lot has changed.
Yeah.
A lot has changed.
Reds putting it together, man. I like that. I like that acquisition. Casty's
Reds are official right now. I can't knock them. I think they have one of the best staffs in baseball too, with Castillo, Gray, and Bauer. I think that's a nasty 1-2-3, like we spoke about. But we got to get out of here. We went over our time. We got a Triple Threads baseball break kicking off right after this, immediately after this. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you have any questions, I know we weren't able to get to any today, please feel free to shoot us a PM. We're all here for you guys. And on that note, on behalf of myself, Stephen Michael, Derek Morgan, Louis Zolo, and FIlthbomb Breaks, we want to thank you for checking in and tuning in and allowing us to broadcast you live tonight on the FIlthbomb Podcast. And until the next break, till the next Case Box Packer podcast, we're signing off saying sayonara, bro, Tanies. Catch you on the flip side. Make it a filthy one.
Hey, this is World Series champion Johnny Damon.
This is World Series champion Cliff Floyd.
This is Kevin Newman of the Pittsburgh Pirates.
This is a World Series champion Ozzie Guillen. This is Carlos Pena, 14-year MLB veteran.
This is two-time NL MVP Dale Murphy of the Atlanta Braves.
This is John Plante, pitcher with the Arizona Diamondbacks.
This is World Series champion Joe Musgrove.
This is Jordan Luplow of the Cleveland Indians.
This is West Coast Jim from Houston Astros.
What's up, it's A. Jones of the Buffalo Bills.
It's Tyler Lockett of the Seattle Seahawks.
He's Hunter Henry of the LA Chargers.
Here's Jose Canseco.
And when I'm not on the field catching bombs from Russell Wilson.
When I'm not on the field catching bombs.
When I'm not on the field catching bombs.
When I'm not on the field hitting bombs.
I'm watching my guys over at
FIlthbomb.
FIlthbomb. FIlthbomb.
FIlthbomb.
FIlthbomb.
FIlthbomb.
FIlthbomb.
FIlthbomb breaks
Off those nasty.
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 Nasty FIlthbomb. I know a thing or two about hitting some bombs, fellas.
But there's nothing quite like hitting a filth bomb
My guys over at FIlthbomb Breaks.
FIlthbomb! FIlthbomb! Mike Trout 101 auto!
MVP breakers, MVP prices.
Keep those FIlthbombs coming, and I'll keep those World Series coming.
Thanks for making baseball cards fun again.
Thanks for making baseball cards fun again, guys. Go Bucks.
Thanks for making collecting cards fun again for the kids and for all of us old timers as well.
A way to make baseball cards fun again, guys. Keep pulling those nasty filth bombs.
and pull me a Jose Canseco Superfractor.
And hit me a West Coast Superfractor. Go Astros.
Please pull me a DuPont Superfractor.
How about you go pull me a Jordan Luplow Superfractor?